Hi, my name is Lisa Soland, and I'm Senior Editor of Climbing Angel Publishing. And today I have the privilege of interviewing author GAYLE Childress Green, who wrote the book just newly released called Because You Are Mine. Hi, GAYLE.
Hi.
And we're so excited because we get to sit next to each other.
We do.
It's
wonderful.
It's actually not like through the screen.
Right.
It is from us to you, the listener and viewer out there that hopefully loves writing and loves the topic of writing, because we're going to talk about writing today, and we're going to talk about where this book came from and how it came to be published. But first, GAYLE, I want to talk with you about your background in writing. Tell us a little bit about how this all culminated in this book. What is your background?
Right. That's a really good word to use, culmination.
Culmination.
Because I feel like this book is a culmination of a lot of different aspects of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I have always loved writing from the time I was 10 years old. I got a diary for Christmas and with a little lock. Remember those? The little locks. And
thank God for those locks.
That's right. Boy, my childhood.
Yes, all those pages about the weather.
All those things I did.
And how school was canceled.
Went to school, came home, did my homework, ate dinner, went to bed. The next day is went to school, came home, played with Mary, I did something, but it was very, regimented.
Those locks, yes.
Those locks.
Very important.
It was very secretive. So that really kind of inspired a love of writing for me. It was fun. And, at times in my life, as I did grow up and you become an adult, the diaries become your journaling. That was the new word.
Yes.
And it really kind of kept me sane at sometimes. Writing things on paper really helps give you clarity, and it's therapeutic. It was in a lot of ways.
So I'm interested in that now. So it's the process of taking something out of your head and putting it on a piece of paper separate away from you. Is that it? Or
yes.
Yeah.
And I think journaling, writing in diaries and journaling my whole life kind of gave me a real freedom with writing, because I didn't want anybody else to read it. And I thought, this is just for me. And I didn't have to be perfect.
Yes.
I just wrote from my heart what I felt.
Yes.
So I had a real love for writing and reading, and but
did your parents encourage you to read?
They did. And in fact, I just found a letter that I wrote to my grandparents, and I was 10 years old, no, 11. Mm. And I was telling them, they had sent us a really nice version of Little Women. I'm the oldest of 5 girls. And I was telling them how much I loved the book. So I was reading Little Women at age 11.
Yes.
And I remember reading Jane Eyre when I was probably in 7th or 8th grade. But I loved literature, all the classic books,
And who was it in Little Women? Was it Jo that was the writer?
She was the writer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And obviously it was modeled after the writer.
Yes. Yes.
There's always a writer in the group when the writer's writing the thing that's being written about.
True.
Yeah.
And my dad told me, you should be a writer. You should be a writer.
What made him think that?
I guess because I loved writing, and I did take some creative writing in high school, and in junior high, I actually took a creative writing course, and we paired up with another student, and we wrote a children's book in 9th grade. The teacher loved it. And there was I lived in Santa Barbara, California at the time, and there was an author, his name was Jolly Roger Bradfield, a children's book author. And she actually sent our manuscript to him for him to kind of critique it,
Aww.
And he wrote us back. He said, girls, I think you have something here. You should pursue it. But, we were in 9th grade. We don't know what to do.
Yeah, unless the teacher, pushed it forward.
Right.
But you got to love teachers like that.
Oh, yes.
Because that was an important door to open in your psyche.
Yes.
And you never know what led you to even thinking you might do something like that in the future.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that it was a success, that the teacher liked it enough to send it off, little things like that make an impression on you when you're growing up.
Yes, that's what, when I'm out and about in the world and the subject comes up and there's young people around, I make a point to tell them that I am a writer because I want them to understand that writers are real people and that they too can be a writer.
Yes.
If you're too far away from people that are in positions like that, you think that it's out of the worldly possibility,
Right.
and so it's good to share that with young people because a writer is just somebody like them that decided they were going to take a chance and put something down on paper
and share it
not
keep it under lock and key under your pillow,
right, like Emily Dickinson did with all of her poetry.
So my dad thought I had some ability, but I was really, at the time in my life, I wanted to be a dancer just more than anything. So I majored in dance in school, and I ended up teaching dance and choreographing for over 30 years.
It's a fantastic way to express yourself.
It is.
In a very similar way as writing.
Yes, as a choreographer, I was writing movement.
Right.
A lot of those kind of guidelines for choreography really do transfer to writing. I have found it to be very helpful.
An idea or a storyline is a storyline.
Absolutely. And a dance is a story in movement. But I had a really serious knee injury, not while I was dancing, just trying to play tennis. And I ended up having to have complete reconstruction of my ACL and some bone fragments. It was not a good injury.
And the doctor said?
This is going to take you a really long time to recover from. And I kind of quit. I quit teaching and quit doing choreography. And then I turned more toward acting and doing that kind of thing. I did a lot of, community theater, musicals, all that. I found that as long as I was creating, that I was happy.
Right, because you're an artist. An artist is an artist, regardless of what they're at. I have met so many artists that do so many different things, like actors who play the guitar, or directors who paint.
Right. And you see somebody, a famous person, and you see them singing, and you're like, well, of course they can sing. Of course they can tap dance, because
absolutely. Well, when I was growing up, it was like you had to be a triple threat.
Right.
And now you got to be like excellent in 4 or 5 things.
Right. That's true.
Because when you're unemployed in one area, you can be employed in another.
That is so true. So,
tell me about the writing. What's the first thing you wrote?
Well, the first thing that I actually wrote that I actually had coffee with you I got introduced to Lisa Soland. And
that's where you went wrong.
No. We found out we had a whole lot in common besides just a love of writing and theater and acting and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And Lisa was, the first playwright I had ever met. And you really inspired me, and you really challenged me. And I had just done a really, really depressing play with my daughter. You'll meet in a little while.
And I saw that Marcia Norman's play,
Night Mother. And that I would not recommend doing that with your real daughter because it's really a depressing play. But so when I got done with that, I was in such a low place emotionally that I decided to write a play that was just totally happy, like a happily ever after, everything worked out play. And so I wrote it and I submitted it to Tennessee Stage Company.
Some things in life do work out. You would never know it by what we're watching on the news today. But
True.
Some things in life,
it doesn't all end bad.
Do have happy endings.
Right. Which is, I think we need that kind of hope. And that's why I wrote that play.
Yeah.
Because I wanted people to not feel like I had any agenda or anything except just to entertain and make them happy and take, I think that's what a lot of that we do as writers is we are able to transport someone to another world where
this is a good world to be transported to, people. It's now available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and all your
it is
online platforms.
Even in other languages. I was so shocked when I started. I was texting Lisa, did you know it's
She's everywhere?
Like, yes, it's worldwide, Gayle.
It's worldwide.
So I got involved in writing plays a little bit and wrote several, and then the pandemic happened. So I'm at home.
Right.
And I doing nothing and except organizing my closets and drawers. And there's only so long you can do that. And I see on my newsfeed on Facebook, Lisa Soland's offering a children's book writing masterclass workshop. And I thought, maybe now is the time to do that,
Mm.
And it honestly, it changed. I feel like it changed the course of my life again, and I feel like that it is the culmination of a lot of things. My love for reading and writing. As a dance teacher, I worked with children my whole life. And I when I retired from teaching, I missed that, So, and as a child, I loved the children's books.
Do you think that you'll be writing a book about a dance teacher at some point? It might be.
Well, so maybe I should. Do you have a pen?
Write this down.
I'll write it down.
I've learned that if you don't write it down, it's gone, right?
That is so true.
Make sure you write everything down. Well, I'm excited to talk with you about the inspiration of the book, and we'll do that in part 2. And we really appreciate you as our listening, watching audience and your support for Climbing Angel Publishing and what we're trying to do as a new publishing company. We want to bring great, wholesome, inspirational stories to you. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back with you. Thank you.